Juan
Okay.
Pablo, congratulations on the film. I just got to watch it last night and thought it was really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So let's jump in. It's a semi-autobiographical project. Talk a little bit about the genesis of the script and how this developed for you over a course of years.
I've been in the kind of the actor performer seat for 23 years now, I think. And but since childhood, I really wanted to direct. In fact, I did direct a lot of music videos and short films through the years, but I kept it sort of to the side, going one day, I'll make the feature. And and my best friend Andres Pepe Estrada, who I met when I was 12 in Buenos Aires in middle school, we became really good friends because we connected over film and filmmaking. And so we taught ourselves how to edit, and we became sort of like the school's video, team, I guess. So we're making all the videos that the school needed. And and through the years he went on to become an amazing editor for films like Argentina 1985, Santiago Mitre's entry for the Oscars, that was nominated for the Oscars and won the Golden Globe. And so a very prolific editor. And then I went and became an actor. And in 2020, we sort of, well, this idea came to me to make this story. And I thought, this is it. This is the film that we will make as our debut film. And we need to do it together. And anyway, he was definitely like a big part of making it, because with his yes, then it became okay. Then get the money and get the casting and get the places. And so that was the genesis. Like, but I want to say the biggest one was 2020, that time when we were all, you know, uh, we had time to think. And having acted for that amount of time, the question for me was, what do I want to do? What is my heart telling me I need to do right now? And it was that have to make a film, initial idea. So it was around 2020 that I put it to paper and wrote the story.
So let's get into the film. So you're both a co-director, a producer, the writer, and also a star in the film, the star of the film. And talk a little bit about how that worked for you to kind of switch back and forth between roles. I mean, I guess having a close friend made it a bit easier to negotiate those different roles, right?
Yeah, because I didn't go to film school. Uh, I wanted to surround myself with amazing artists to make it, because these are a lot of hats, and it was by need. It wasn't by design. Uh, so yes, I had to produce some of it, and then of course, wrote it, but I did pick great people like Andres, who has an eye for the editing of it all and how it should, one shot kind of linked to the next, which was amazing. So he had that vision of the technical side, but also the heart of story, because he comes from that place of constantly working with directors, editing their films. So his knowledge of stories is very rich and structured. And then Devin Doyle, who is the cinematographer, who is also a wizard and a genius, who I worked with in the past, and I knew immediately he needs to be in Duino. So the three of us, kind of like Devin says, one is the eyes, the heart, and the head of Duino. It felt like such a strong team that even though I was wearing all these hats, I was supported. Same with Amanda Lenker Doyle, casting director, who helped me sort of assemble this really difficult puzzle of international actors from a lot of countries. Um, Brent Miller and Norman Lear, who came on board as executive producers, and again, supporting, like feeling that support was key in doing so much. Uh, because I felt like I was always surrounded by just great artists.
And talk a little bit about exploring, going back to the story of your past. I mean, it's really kind of a rumination of memory and these you have this use of found footage, which is an actual thing in your archive,
Mm,
that the younger version of yourself is re-examining or is experiencing a crush at a boarding school, and then you as an adult are looking back at that. Talk a little bit about the exploration of memory and what that means in the film.
yeah, memory is, I would say, the biggest seed, the biggest theme in the movie, and the how we can romanticize the past, and how sometimes it is so precious, especially if it deals with first love, like a really important memory. Um, how we don't really want to, we treat it as a precious stone or an insect in amber, like a prehistorical thing. A memory is like this thing. And so it is kind of like a Russian doll story, uh, because it's a man making a movie about a memory that happened to him, right? And so I just like the layers of time. Uh, I think both Andres and I were very conscious of telling it in a way that it was kind of like a weave uh, between these mediums in a way, because you have the present, you have the past, you have the movie within the movie, and you have the VHS, the high eight tape. And so it's like a dance between these, um, in a way, realities, right? So yeah, to explore memory for me was the most interesting thing, memory and time, and what we do with it, what we choose to do with memory. I think as like artists tend to go into their memory and their life to talk about certain things. So it's not unusual that Matthias, the filmmaker, central character of the film, wants to talk about a very important memory. But yeah, it's been an interesting thing to do, also from a human perspective, because I've had to kind of course, I was inspired by real people and real events, but I had to put myself outside of that and to see it as a separate story, because it's fictionalized. There's a lot of things that never happened.
Talk a little bit about one of the things I found interesting was this experience of young love. I mean, it's a universal thing, of course, but it's also something that's specific to, gay relationships and things like that, about having this experience of desire, but maybe not even having the words to describe what it is because it wasn't part of society. It wasn't something that people talked about. And
Mm.
that was kind of one of the interesting things that I thought was really poignant in the portrayals about he's sort of struggling, the younger version, the character is trying to really struggling with understanding his emotions, his feelings, and coming to grips with that. And I thought that was very beautiful. Talk a little bit about what you were trying to show.
I think there's a time in life around 16 to 18, maybe, where you're definitely not a child anymore and you're not yet an adult. And it's almost like a window of time when you are very tender, right? And I wanted to talk about that time specifically and how young adults feel things so much more. Like the bad things feel awful and the good things are, you know, amazing. And um, and it's a very specific time because then you can't really recreate that later on, which is what Matthias wants to do. It's like, I want to go back to that, you know. And and yeah, there is something very interesting and amazing about that time, which is kind of messy. That messy time when we don't really know what's going on, but it's just so exciting. What you feel for the first time is so exciting. Uh, and then as adults, you become bitter, bitter and gray. Um, so I don't know. I just felt that was something that was a huge inspiration to talk about the uniqueness of that time in life and the and the conundrums you go through when you don't understand, what you're going through.
Mm. I love the detail of the mothers sort of observing Matthias, and in a way they understand what's going on better than he does. And I thought that was kind of a very interesting observation about showing the parents and how this relationship's affecting the parents as well. And there's kind of a full family dynamic there that you represented.
Yeah, and I think there's not enough. I haven't seen enough stories that deal with how parents deal with kids going through love, and I felt it was a new approach also because this is also two mothers who don't speak the same language,
Mm.
and so they understand each other through sign language, but they're talking about something really specific and really important. And they're both from completely different backgrounds and cultures and languages. And yet it's so universal what they're going through. And it's also, I think, a historical piece because it's like 1997. So things were different then, acceptance, repression, coming out, all that stuff was different than it is now. And so we treated it also as a document of what was. But having lived through that, yeah, I knew that world very well. And by conversations with my own mother of what her point of view was and what her conversations with the other mother were for real, inspired those scenes that you're talking about. Uh, so yeah, that's why we dedicated like almost a whole act to the parents because it's yet another point of view, and again, there's no antagonists. It's people trying to do their best. Sometimes they make mistakes doing their best, uh, but the universal thing is the love for a child. So you just want your child to be safe, to not suffer, um, and you make decisions, and not all decisions are correct, but there's only love.
Mm. What was it like for you to direct Santiago as the young Matthias in the film, having to go through all of these different things that some of which maybe you went through?
It was amazing. I mean, he's just a super talented young actor, and we got to, I mean, Santiago later. I was about to decide on a certain actor, and then it was Amanda, my casting director, Amanda Lenker Doyle. She's like, let's do one more search, and so we had to restart the whole thing again in Buenos Aires. And I found Santiago, and this is his first feature. And Santiago is very he's what's the word? An extrovert in real life. He does magic. He's an amazing magician, and yet this character had to be the opposite of that. But there was something in him that was so exactly Matias, you know. And so Andres and I just had to, uh, I don't know, it was easy. It was easy. It was an easy process, but he studied. I mean, as weird as it sounds, he studied me as, you know, in the shoot, as I was directing and doing and moving around. He was like observing me a lot. And so it was surreal to direct someone to play little you, basically. Because also it's a version of you that is kind of like a cocoon version of you, right? So it had to be like this contained, shy person, um, which he's not. Santiago is, you know, very confident. So it was wonderful. It was just wonderful to see the transformation.
Mhm. So my final question about the film, and then I have some other questions for you, is the film is also very much about kind of closing a loop, you know. He's revisiting all of these experiences. As you talk about, there are all these kind of meta elements that are sort of woven through the film. And I think kind of brilliantly at the end, it all sort of comes together in a really uh, successful way. Talk a little bit about what art is therapy. This film is therapy for you as closing a loop, as revisiting a memory and then coming to a conclusion. What did you get out of it?
Well, it's been the last 3 years of my life doing this. So I definitely feel like I've been in the loop of the loop. And it's been great. It's been great because it means a lot. Like it means a lot. Um, I've been involved in all kinds of projects where perhaps um, I'm just a piece, right? I'm just a piece of the puzzle. And sometimes you like some more than others, and you know, when the editor or the director makes a decision, that you have zero say in that process. When you're an actor, you're one piece. When you're making a film, it's literally your baby. It's like your child, and you're deciding everything about it, the colors, the, you know, the actors, the story, how you want to tell the story, you know, which take you use. And so to be so immersed in that has been quite intense for a while. So it's felt, but what I'm trying to say is that there's no bigger satisfaction to an artist than feeling like you said what you had to say in the way that you wanted to say it. And I feel that. And it's rare. Like it's rare to feel that you've put out into the world exactly what you wanted to put out as an artist. It's not normal. Um, because also this movie was born out of complete, like we, you know, from the ground up, no studios, no outside influence other than Andres and myself. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do it this way. And and as a first film, as a debut feature, I felt um, it was the right thing to do, because ultimately it's about finding the voice too, finding what kind of voice Andres and I have, and and to do that, you need freedom. To find your own voice artistically, you need the freedom to make mistakes, to move, to go look at it this way, go at it this way, until you find exactly how you want to say something. So it's been great. It's been really wonderful. But the meta part of it, like I said, I just see it as a story. I don't see it as, you know, this is me anymore. It's not me anymore. It's something else.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on. Juan Pablo, congratulations on the film. I think it's a beautiful accomplishment. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thanks for watching the uInterview channel. With over 3,000 original celebrity videos, we have one of the largest collections of celebrity interviews anywhere. So remember to like and comment on our videos and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more involved, you can become a member of the channel. Membership has its perks. You can see exclusive celebrity videos and get the opportunity to ask our celebrity guests questions. We can't wait to hear from you.